Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. I'm your host, Ed, and with me is Matt, Omar, and Lane. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
What's up?
Good evening. How you doing? Drinking that water? Good. I like that.
Also joining us once again is my lovely wife, Jen. Say hi, babe.
Hello.
Now, for this episode, it's gonna be a pretty fun one because we're gonna do a review of the latest TV series video game adaptation, Fallout, which was picked out by Prime, which I think we can all agree they did a pretty good job at it, right?
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Okay.
Boo.
Jury's still out.
I want my money back.
Now, before we begin the show, a quick word from our affiliate, Maono. Maono is one of the leading companies in budget-friendly mics and audio interfaces. They sell in over 150 countries and have a variety of items tailored to fit one budget without breaking the bank. Case in point, we're all using Maono microphones right now. Well, except me and Matt, we're sharing one right now because we're that close.
Literally.
Are we? Really?
Like right now, we are that close. I'll leave
It's not a secret.
I feel safe.
I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below. If you use code MediaBuff, you get 10% off your first purchase. It definitely helps out, especially because we want to grow the show. So definitely check any items out they have. I'll leave a link to the items that we're currently using in the description on my YouTube page.
Promise?
I promise, yeah. Now, for today's episode, like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about the Fallout adaptation series. Prime just took it, ran with it, did a pretty good job. It aired on April 10th of this year with 8 episodes. If you've never actually played the video game franchise, which is what it's based off of, you're not really going to be too much in the dark, although it does help. Some terms here and there. Other than that, they tell a unique story centered around the universe of Fallout, which to now it has 6 main titles: Fallout 1, 2, 3, and 4, and New Vegas, which actually comes out after 3, between 4, and then Fallout 76, which is its latest iteration, and a mobile game called Fallout Shelter, along with a bunch of like side games and freaking strategy games and bunch of PC crap that you can play.
I would have been surprised if they end up coming out with books.
I want to say they do actually, because they definitely have a comic. They definitely have comics,
They
but
do have graphic novel?
yeah, they have graphic novels, but yeah,
Graphic novel's still a book.
true, yeah.
My mom's a book.
I know there's a lot to take in, but trust me, the franchise is a lot of fun, and Prime did a really good job with this, and that's part of the reason we're going to talk about that. We all watched the first season except Omar.
I'm sorry. I have something called a life.
He's
outside of
2
this.
episodes shy, but it's fine because he doesn't care if we spoil it for him.
I'm
Although
like, does dog meat die?
you just use the stim pack on it. Although if you haven't seen the show by now, like, come on, watch it. As of recording this episode, it's been out for almost a month. So
Has it really been that long?
April 10th.
Holy
Spoiler
shit!
alert, just in case.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Spoiler alert. We're gonna be talking heavy about the show, mainly what we liked about it and how it compares to the video game franchise, but mainly what we like about it. Now, so quick synopsis about the franchise and the show. The series depicts in the aftermath of the Great War of 2077, an apocalyptic nuclear exchange and alternate history of Earth with advances in nuclear technology after World War II led to the emergence of retro-futuristic society and subsequent war. Many survivors took refuge in a fallout bunkers known as vaults, unaware to the experiment on the vault dwellers that was going to be happening, because why not? More than 200 years later, in the year 2296, a young woman named Lucy, pertaining to the show, leaves behind her home of Vault 33 to venture out into the dangerous wasteland, which is LA at the time, in that location, to look for her father, who has been kidnapped by a raider. And she meets a member from the Brotherhood of Steel, which is a sect in the video game franchise, which pretty much act as, like, I guess, the police. And they basically meet up with a ghoul who's also a bounty hunter, and basically a lot of craziness ensues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The cast mainly pertains with Lucy McLean, who is one of the main characters. She's the one basically looking for her father, played by Ella Purnell. Am I saying that right?
Purnell, yes.
Aaron Moten as Maximus.
It's Aaron, okay?
Aaron Martin as Maximus, who is one of the squires of the Brotherhood of Steel, who becomes an ally to Lucy, and is portrayed by Amir Carr. Oh no, that's young Maximus. Never mind. And then you have Kyle McCallahan, who is also Hank McClane, Lucy's father, who is the overseer of Vault 33, but originates from Vault 31, and we'll get into that. And is the one who is kidnapped by the villain of this one. Her name is Moldaver. Am I saying that right? Moldaver. Basically, she's one of the raiders.
Gosh, are you even a fan?
Right. Basically, she's the leader of one of the raiders group who is able to enter Vault 33, kidnaps him, takes him away. It's not explained in the beginning, but you find out down the line. You have Moses Arias as Norm McLean, who is also a Vault resident, but also plays Lucy's brother, who basically, I don't know how you would describe his character, but he acts as a devil's advocate in the series. Or what would you call him, Matt?
Like, it's exactly what the blind lady from Deadpool said. That's how I remember what's her name.
Well, he's actually, I would call him a super sleuth.
No,
would you guys agree?
No, he is, exactly what she's exactly... fuck, I'm fucking up my words. Anyways.
Regardless, he plays her brother.
He's a clever boy.
He is a clever super sleuth, yeah. And then, of course, you have Walton Goggins as the Ghoul, a.k.a. Cooper Howard, a once famous Hollywood actor and Vault-Tec ambassador who mutated into a ghoul after the bombs fell and is now making a living as a gunslinger bounty hunter.
Was he was he the ambassador or was he more of a spokesman for them?
Well, it's the same thing. An ambassador is technically a spokesperson. It's just...
Are they really?
Yeah, they're about the same. Now, again, the franchise... This series takes in between one of the timelines of the video game franchise. They've gone on record to say that it takes between Fallout 4 and... No, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. Right? Is that what they said?
I couldn't tell you.
No, I think this happens after...
The events of Fallout 3, or?
No, this is after New Vegas.
After New Vegas, okay.
And I think it's also supposed to be after 4.
After 4, okay. So it kind of takes somewhere between those timelines. You can go online and look up the entire lore of the Fallout franchise. It's very extensive. Fallout 76 is technically the predecessor to the entire timeline of Fallout, which is why they came out first. I don't know why, because that's what you do in this day and age. You come out with the last movies first, and then you do the prequels, a.k.a. George Lucas.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Now, going around, just basically kind of like say what you definitely liked about the show, and kind of we'll go from there, and then we'll get into a little deeper and kind of go over the characters.
Okay, so one thing I
Actually,
love about the show...
Given that Omar is the one that doesn't know much about the series, let's hear him first. Omar.
Okay.
Your mom.
Oh my god.
Fine. Be that way.
So far, what I like about the show is, well, first of all, they created an original story rather than try to remake one of the multiple games that they already...
True.
So they have plenty of room and wiggle room to create their own mythos within the whole Fallout franchise.
And they plugged it in well into the franchise, by the way.
But what I really like about this show is the potential of future adaptations, which is something that I'll bring about later on because I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah, it's already been greenlit for a second season.
Not just that, but I mean like another Bethesda.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah. Now, Jen, you've seen me play the game, so you are a little more familiar with the franchise. Tell me how you liked the show and kind of what grabbed your attention when it was first aired. Because you know why it grabbed my attention, but what grabbed your attention when it was first aired?
From the first episode?
No, just in general, like just what do you like about it? What drew your attention? Because you've never played the game, but you know of the franchise. Again, I play it a lot, so she's seen me play it, so she knows what the game is about. So what kind of drew you to the franchise, to the TV series?
To the TV series? The characters. Honestly, like as the show progresses, I like how you learn more and more about the character, the pacing of the characters. I think that one of my favorite characters is the
Ghoul.
The Ghoul. because you can kind of see, like, he starts learning about his wife. Like, he's like totally, when as the show progresses, he's like, he thinks his wife is a certain person.
I got that
You
feeling.
see
When,
that?
I got that feeling when they showed her in that first or that one episode where he gave her, or she gave him his outfit for the ambassador or whatever.
Yeah. And so from there, it's like, that's what drew my attention, because I was like, oh my god, as the episodes go on, like, you can see how just jaded he's become after everything that's happened. And, like, just to know that your wife isn't who you thought she was is really, like, like,
And the fact that they could add like so much character development
Yeah.
in 8 episodes.
yeah. And that amount of time is, like, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, the other character that I like is Lucy's brother. That guy was just...
Norm.
Yeah. I mean, like, he had, like, little bits and pieces. And, like, I don't think that's, a lot of airtime. But in that amount of time, they said a lot about him.
Mm.
Without, actually saying it. They just, like, show you.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that they use, like, every job he's ever had in the vault lacks enthusiasm. And I was like, this guy's, like, trying to stay, like, under the radar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
learn, but, every station. And
But-
it's pretty clever.
Interesting fact about him: he basically learned every job in the vault. So that's it. Kind of. So he's basically a one-man Swiss Army.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
is-
Jack of all
yeah.
trade. Yeah. So
Makes him very interesting.
makes you wonder what he's plotting.
Yeah.
Or what he knows. Now, Lane, you're one of the few ones in here who's played some of the games and you know the story and the lore of the franchise. What's your take on the series?
I really liked it. I thought it was really entertaining. I really enjoy like apocalyptic things if it's done correctly, and
I
it
think
has
we
an
all do.
interesting twist like Fallout does. I didn't really get very far in the games, but I kind of just deep dived in, like, when the series came out, I watched it, and then I just kind of dove into, like, what the game was about.
Yeah, a ton of YouTube videos popped up talking about the lore.
Yeah, I think, like, my favorite aspect of the game is, like, the vaults themselves and all the weird stuff that happens in them, which I think they did a pretty good job of, like, showing us a little bit, but not, like, making it the main focus, which I thought is good, so it would help, like, the other characters. But, yeah, no, I enjoy that they did show us a different vault eventually, so we're not just like, oh, this is just Vault 33 and the remnants of 32, so...
Yeah. And in the franchise, there are 225 or 222 vaults in the entire span of the U.S. Each of them basically carried out a different type of experiment. You had one where you had a guy that was alone with a bunch of puppets. You had another one, You had another one where this guy was left in the vault with a cloning machine named Gary.
What the hell?
Yeah. And you had one. The vault it didn't close all the way, so some of the radiation came in and affected a lot of people. And one that I liked, well, not liked, but really shook me was basically the AI was governed by the vault was governed by an AI, and it told the people, the dwellers in the vault, telling them, you have to kill the overseer every year or I will kill all of you. And they kept doing that until there was like less than 5 people left, and they decided, let's just not do it this time, and they don't kill anybody. And when they went through with that, the AI said, congratulations, you fought against adversary. You were never supposed to kill anybody because this was a test to see your humanity.
What the hell?
Needless to say, the whole thing ended with 3 of them killing each other and the other 2 leaving the vault. Yeah, that's just how profound the lore of this series is, and they did a great job just giving you a taste of it, enough to really encapsulate it, but at the same time really get you into it. Now, Matt, besides me, you're one of the few people who has beaten one of the Fallout games, or did you beat 3 in Vegas?
I beat 3 like a long time ago, like when it first came out. New Vegas, I made it far in, but never beat it.
Okay, so what's your take on the show?
Okay, first thing I absolutely love about the show is that you don't have to know what Fallout is in order to understand the story. It's pretty self-explanatory. and they do a great job with like what Omar was saying about how it's its own story. Because the thing about the Fallout timeline, like 4, New Vegas, 3, 1, and 2, all take place years apart from each other
About 200
after the
years.
initial bomb fall.
To build off on that, Jen's dad, who has never known about the franchise or even played any of the games, watched the show and absolutely loved it. Right, babe?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I told him about it. And,
I'm gonna be holding
And then he was like, and he was like, "Oh, the skeleton man, I really like his story." I was giving him very tip, like, and I'm like, I know what you're talking about.
That's so funny. The skeleton man.
What else you got, Matt?
And also another thing I really enjoyed about the show.
Oh, so cute.
I got it, I think.
Do you?
I need to get the giggles out. I'm sorry, people.
And this is how you know our podcasts are not scripted.
anyways. Okay, another thing that I truly enjoyed about the show is that it takes a lot of inspiration from the gameplay. Like with Moldorf?
Moldaver.
Moldaver, that's what it was. She's revealed as the villain at the beginning of the show. And that's how much happens at the beginning of each game. And then you play through the game, and then the last second or like last part of Act 3, which, towards the end, there's this big reveal about who your enemy is. And another cool part about that is that she was like a villain of circumstance. She was the villain in Lucy's eyes. Because this woman came into her vault, slaughtered her people, and kidnapped her dad. But we all know who the real evil is, and that is Vault-Tec.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a big
100%.
major corporation.
Yeah, it's OCP
I was
in
about to
video
say the
games.
same thing.
Right there with you.
But way deadlier than OCP.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but-
They made Robocane.
Dude,
We're getting off topic. Okay.
when the dude from...
Okay. Going from there, and talking about the characters, any specific details that stood out from them? Anything you guys really, really liked about them, or you would change, or anything you feel like you want to see down the line as the story progresses? Jen, you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
just call her out right then and there.
Of the characters,
Yeah. So I mean,
something that I would like to see.
yeah, of any of the characters. I know you said you liked. Oh my God, the ghoul. I forget his name. Cooper Howard.
Yeah.
I was going to
Oh,
say
what
it's
I like
Walter
to see-
Goggins.
Walter Goggins.
Okay, what I would like to see
Walton.
is
Walton.
what happened when the bomb fell, because we don't really get to see what happened to his daughter. I want to know where his daughter is. And where his wife is, by the way, and how did he? Because I thought,
How did
when I
he
watched the
mutate?
show, yeah, I want to see all that, or at least some sort of, flashback or something telling us what happened in between, because the wife was working hard to get them to be secured, and I wonder how he, ended up not being in a vault, because I thought, she was doing all this for her family. to
Maybe
keep
the
them
vault
safe.
was already overstuffed and he sacrificed himself to save his wife and daughter.
I think.
Hang on, I want to hear what Lane says.
I mean,
I think they had a divorce once he found out
what she was.
what.
Up to.
When she said, like, we're gonna drop the bomb, I can totally see him confronting her about it, and then
He took the daughter.
And then, yeah.
they separate.
And then when did that happen? Because we were shown that they went to a birthday party still together, and he took the girl. So I was like, where is this happening?
yeah, might have just been his weekend. I don't know,
Yeah, because from this, from when they were showing in that first episode, the ghoul, when he was still human, he was kind of like apprehensive and didn't want to deal with his persona as the actor.
Yeah.
So this probably what you guys are saying probably took place after the whole when he first became the ambassador for Vault-Tec.
Seems
Makes-
like he has a grudge against Vault-Tec for
yeah.
sure.
Makes sense, yeah. And the show did leave a lot of unanswered questions that
Well, that's why
we'll
there's
obviously
season
see
2.
in season 2. Omar, what about you? What are some of the characters that kind of like talked to you or stood out to you, or just things you like?
Aside from the ghoul, aside from being all cool and shit, Lucy being like, she's not necessarily like, I want to say sheltered. I guess she lived in a shelter.
She's a
or whatever.
little sheltered.
But she's still smart enough to adapt to her environment around her, but still strong enough to stick to her own convictions.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, And one of the things I did like is that after she killed all those fucking people in that one thing, the next scene that she comes out, she is wearing like some of their armor and stuff, like how you do in the games. Just take people's clothes and just wear their armor.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the thing I want to see though is I forgot what was called in the game where you zoom
gek.
in. No, where you zoom in and
Bats.
Bats. Yeah,
Bats.
I want to see. Do they ever have a scene like that?
No, they didn't. But a lot of people went to YouTube and kind of edited it themselves into the scenes, specifically when Cooper's character, the ghoul,
When he fucking
was
blows everybody
blowing
up
everybody
with the
away.
fucking mini bomb bullets.
Anybody else or just that character?
Those two, because from like the episodes that I saw, like I'm on episode 6, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Maximus's character so far. So.
Yeah, same here. Not a huge fan.
Right now,
He's my least
he's
favorite.
very
To be
like
honest.
he's very one dimensional
Yeah.
at the most part.
Yeah.
Lucy, Cooper, and then Lucy's brother. What was his name?
Norm.
Again? Norm.
Mhm.
Yeah, Norm is actually starting to catch my interest. Like he's intriguing.
He caught our interest like from day one. Like the moment he figured there was something afoot, I was like, he knows something, or he's figuring it
Well,
out.
he's digging through the vault and all the information. Like he's smart enough to know how to like access information.
Yeah, well, he hacked a bunch of terminals and basically was able to discover the secret of Vault 32.
Yeah.
Or was it Vault 31? Vault 31.
Which Betty kind of was catching on to him.
Yeah,
Like,
Betty.
she was, like, trying to
Betty
figure
Parker.
The
him
mashed
out.
potatoes
Yeah.
line or whatever.
Yeah,
No, what really like
Leslie Uggams' character.
like one of my favorite things about Norm's character, well, like one of my favorite lines is when Lucy was first about to leave the vault, and she asked him if he wants to come along. He's like, I'm a chicken, I can't go.
Aw, that's cool. What about you, Lynn? What's some of the characters you wanna like definitely see more of them, and then aspects that you like of them or want them to grow as the series progresses?
So yeah, I like most of the characters. I think Maximus is kind of, and the Brotherhood
No love for
storyline.
Maximus.
No, not even just Maximus, just like the Brotherhood storyline in general. It's just kind of like
Yeah, I didn't
they're
like
clearly like a freaking cult that steals little boys and brainwashes them into their soldiers.
Yeah, I didn't like how they
You
were kept it.
know, yeah. So I mean, they're kind of
That
like
kinda-
the one where I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like I don't want to. We don't have to kill them off or anything. But I'm just like, whenever like their storyline comes on, I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm just not paying as much attention. But yeah, I love Norm's storyline and just all of the Vault 33 residents, like all of them in there. The cousin and
Yeah,
Chet.
Chet.
yeah, and what's her name, Diane, I think.
It's hang on, I got the cast up here right now. Rose McLean. Oh no, that's her mom.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
The
Dane by Celia Mendes.
No, not Dane. That's the
I'm talking about the lady with
Brotherhood.
patch.
The
Yeah.
one-eyed pregnant lady.
Yeah.
Well, she has a baby now, but like just all of those characters and everything that's going
Oh,
on there.
Barb Howard, Frances
Yeah.
Turner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she turns into a badass like in 0 to 60 immediately.
Yeah, so I'm really like interested to see like like her story too, because I feel eventually we're all going to figure out like who all the people in Vault 33 originally were, like the ones that
Exactly.
came from 31
Yeah.
originally were, and we're going to see like how they were all part of like Vault Tech. So
Yeah.
I'm just also like really interested in like,
It's like-
kind of all of their backstories and stuff and
Exactly.
what's going on with them, because like I said, I'm a fan of like the Volts. Yeah, like the ghoul I think is supposed to be like the character that you really like. I feel like they've really dabbled into his story a lot. Like we were doing the whole backstory for him, and then so I feel like he's really the main focus.
He
And
felt
then-
like it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was really like supposed to be like the main character. I felt.
Yeah, he felt like it, yeah.
More than like Lucy, even though we start with her.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see all of those characters and what they do. I'm excited to see more Volts. I'm excited to see if they throw any of like the mutants in there.
The super mutants?
Super mutants, yeah.
I think the directors did go on to say that they're going to include more creatures from the series. They're just not going to saturate it.
Yeah.
So you'll definitely see maybe 1 or 2 super mutants. Maybe they'll get attacked. A couple of other creatures in there. What about you, Matt? What's some of the characters you want to see more of, or just characters you liked in general?
Unlike all these fuckers here, I like Maximus.
Knew it. Knew he was gonna come to
You're alone
Max's
there, buddy.
rescue.
See, he's way more of an
Hey, Matt,
interesting character than
Did you
y'all
wash
think.
his cod piece with your tongue?
Very much so. I even tongue punched his butthole.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Anyways,
Now, was he wearing the power armor or was he out of it?
that's none of your business. I do not kiss and tell.
They were both in the power armor.
At the same time, just shoved in
Nice
there.
little intimate right there.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
Anyways, see, the thing that was interesting about him is that he views himself as a weak person, but he's not. He's way more resilient than he realizes. And, like, everyone here says he's very one-dimensional, but he's not. He's just, well, like Lane said, brainwashed.
Yeah, he's very brainwashed. They're all very brainwashed, unfortunately. The Brotherhood of the Steel.
So where do you see his character going in the future then?
I would see him going in the aspect of him realizing he is a better person than what he thinks he is. Like, all those years of getting his ass kicked has made him very resilient and strong-willed. Like, there's plenty of examples when this happens. Like, he knew that, what's his face, Michael Rothenberg's character?
Yeah.
Titus.
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 Titus. Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to see where he goes.
He died.
Yeah,
No,
well,
no, he's a ghoul.
No, oh no,
No,
Thaddeus. You mean
yeah,
Thaddeus?
Thaddeus,
No,
yeah.
Titus. He's talking about
Wait,
Titus.
Oh,
The
Titus.
original-
the identity
Night
who he
Titus.
assumed.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
But wait, I thought they kind of revealed it. Don't we know that it's not him, though, now? He's still not pretending to be him,
no,
right?
he's not.
No.
But also, in those moments,
Man, you
like,
got me confused. with
okay,
those
when
things.
he let Titus die, because not only did he come to realize that if they were in a reverse situation, Titus would let him die
Exactly. Yeah.
without a second thought.
Oh yeah.
But also, when it came to those, like, hard decisions, he was, like, a little bit psychotic about it. Because think of his demeanor. It didn't faze him. He's like, well, like, when he revealed the secret to Titus,
Thaddeus. Yeah.
he immediately was like, well, you gotta die.
Yeah. You know my secret, so you gotta die now.
Which, my question to that was, why would you trust the guy who beat your ass all those years?
Well, if you remember that scene, Thaddeus is explaining that the reason they wailed on him so much because before he came along, he was the one getting wailed on, and that was kind of like the routine that they had. And in an aspect like that, that doesn't surprise me because hazing and all that crap, even in the military nowadays, is still a thing. So when he told him that
Happens in college.
Maximus realized, okay, this kid is not an asshole. He's also a victim of circumstance. So he only went along because, well, if he didn't, he'd probably get his ass beat. But when Thaddeus showed that humanity side to himself, Maximus figured, like, okay, maybe I can open up to this kid. And he did. It's like, ooh, I messed up. I gotta kill you now.
But he revealed all this stuff under the assumption that he was dead.
Who, Thaddeus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that Thaddeus thought Maximus was dead. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So he's like, well, now I'm the person you're speaking about who you thought I was dead.
Yeah. Well, just goes to show you that, you know, you don't speak ill of the dead, but that doesn't mean you mean it.
I don't know about that one.
Well, we already know that when we die, we're gonna talk shit about each other, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No surprises there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a burn book about all y'all's.
Mean Girl
Okay.
status.
Me personally, like
I'm
Len
gonna
was
wear
saying,
pink on Wednesdays.
like Len was saying, I do want to see what happens to Thaddeus because if you watch the show, he gets turned into a ghoul. And if you know anything about the franchise, ghouls are technically immortal because of the radiation. Their bodies like acclimate to it and absorb it and makes them younger. That's how Cooper Howard's character was alive for so long because he became a ghoul. Now, over time, they do lose their mind and they become feral. However, one thing they introduced in the show is this type of chem that Cooper uses to, I guess, keep him sane, and he has to inhale it every so often, otherwise he starts to lose it himself. Now, that is not part of the franchise. That is new to the franchise, which is really cool. Because in the games, you do see ghouls, people who have been turned into ghouls but aren't feral.
Yeah.
But then they introduce this mechanic. So I hope they actually do that in future games. Maybe even let you play as a ghoul yourself, and you have to constantly maintain that, or else you'll go insane. Maybe they can add it as a DLC to 76 or 77. Was it 76 or 77? 76. Now, Thaddeus, he's played by Johnny Pemberton. If you don't know who he is, he's starred in a lot of funny shows. Son of Zorn is a very funny show. He's a very funny guy. So I definitely want to see what happens to him, because he's technically immortal now, unless you blow his head. One other character I actually want to see more of, or see what happens to him, is Adam, who's actually played by Eric Estrada. Jen and I were surprised to see him, and dude, he looked good in the show, by the way.
Who's Adam?
Adam is the guy that Cooper goes to see when he needs to find where Moldaver is, because he knows where he is, because his son ran off to join her. So Eric Estrada plays the dad of that kid, and basically Cooper says, I can kill you and your family, or you can tell me where your son is, who I already killed. And he does. But even though Eric Estrada was only in there for a moment, I want to say that his character might come back simply because Cooper killed his son. And any loving father would probably do something about that. I mean, I know I would.
Inigo Montoya style?
Hell yeah.
Reverse though?
Another character I want to see is the in-between of Moldaver, where she started from and how she got to where she was. I mean, I understand, like, after watching the show, of why she did what she did to kidnap Hank. But I want to see the transition of that.
True. Well, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. She was part of the New California Republic, the RCR, and it got destroyed. That's kind of why she became jaded.
But what I'm talking about is, like, alright, we know that Voltec dropped the bombs and fucked everyone over.
You dropped
right?
a
Pretty
bomb on me,
But
baby.
why is Moldaver taking it so personally? Shh, that's what I want to get at.
Well,
Well-
wouldn't you be pissed off if somebody tried to kill you? I
Well-
mean, they're trying to survive.
If
You
they
know, they're
blew
trying-
up the entire world, I'd be pretty pissed.
Well,
right?
again, going back to the RCR, they blew it up. The Baltic blew it up because they saw that they were rebuilding on their own without Baltic,
Yeah.
so they decided to blow up the place. So that's why she's so jaded and hates them. Well, she already didn't like them,
Shady
but
Sands.
now she hates them because of what they did. Now, my theory is that Moldaver was also kind of had a bit of a love interest with Rose McLean, who was Lucy's mom, who was also a Vault Dweller, but she was actually taken out of there by Moldaver. Now, going from there, Moldaver is someone who was in the point in time before the bombs dropped, but somehow she's still alive 200 years later. Spoiler alert, Omar.
What did they do him for?
What's
Does
the
it matter?
What's the theory you guys have of why she's still alive? Jen, go.
I just asked that question.
Okay, well,
Okay.
What did they do him for?
okay. Well, what?
How is she still alive?
Yeah. Oh, I know they put them in sleep, but it can't be that simple. I want to speculate.
Okay.
How do you think she's still alive?
How is she still alive?
Yeah, because we know that Vault 31 is there. The dwellers in there are cryogenically frozen, but I don't think it's that simple. I think there's more to it. So what do you think? How do you think she's still alive after 200 years?
Well, wasn't she like a scientist?
Yeah.
And did
She's
she
a
create that isotope that she was trying to get from that guy that
Yeah.
got his head chopped off?
Yeah.
So he was carrying the isotope in there. Well,
Yeah.
I think if she's that savvy at creating an isotope to power, give electricity to everything, I think she would be savvy enough to find like a serum, do some sort of to keep her alive and still fighting for the cause that she's fighting for.
Okay, that's a good theory. That's a sound theory. What about you, Omar? What do you think? How do
Well,
you
from
think
what I've
she's-
seen so far, and from what you've been saying, maybe she's a new breed of or like ghoul or mutant.
Oh, okay. Elaborate.
Well, you said that all these vaults were conducting different types of experimentations, right? What are they experimenting with radiation and how to increase longevity, or maybe some form of immortality?
Makes sense. Lane?
Oh, I think she came out of a vault somewhere.
Yeah. Not 33 though, or 31.
No, I don't think she came out of 31 because I don't think she worked Well,
Well, she was against them. She was
yeah,
against them.
unless she like worked for them and then like was trying to get stuff on them to expose them somehow, but we don't really know if that's what she was doing.
Yeah,
but I feel like she had to have gotten into a vault, and then maybe one of the vaults had like the cryogen freezer,
Makes sense.
sleep for a while.
Makes sense. And then Matt, do you have a theory?
Well, I'm gonna go with she was frozen and woke up and pursued her revenge or resumed it, because also like the whole thing of her being immoral and stuff, I don't think it holds up because she, spoiler alert, she dies.
Well, even though ghouls are technically immortal, they can still die. Just blow their head. Now, going off of Omar's theory about the splicing of DNA and basically using it to increase longevity, they don't openly say it, but I think Rose and her exit Vault 31 after the 20 years after the bombs dropped, because that was Reclamation Day. If you played 76 after the bombs dropped, they let you out to try to repopulate the world. You get the Gek to try to basically start a new Eden, and they go from there. Now, since they went out through that time, they were technically alive those 200 years where the wasteland was trying to recover. Vault Tech found out about this. They decided to nuke the New California Republic. Now, going off of what Omar said, if you watch the show, at the end of the series, you see that Lucy's mom, Rose McKellen, was turned into a ghoul after the bomb dropped, meaning that she was alive during that time when the bomb was dropped. Lee and Rose were alive. Now, if she's a scientist, maybe she found a way to synthesize Rose's blood and inject it into her to elongate her vitality and make her stay alive longer. Granted,
without the negative effects of turning into a
exactly.
ghoul.
So that's my theory. It goes with yours, but I mean, we'll never know. And when it comes to Fallout, anything can be possible.
That's true.
Yeah, but we'll see from there. Now, going from there, what's something you kind of wish to see in the next season? What's something you want to see? Who wants? Anybody?
Well, one of the questions that I want to ask though is, does the Fallout only take place in America, or is the other countries also nuked?
The other countries are nuked. You don't get to see much of the other countries except in a DLC where you go to China, and you do see the wasteland, how it is there. But mostly they all take in the U.S.
Because I would love to see like maybe just like a couple episodes in season 2 just take place in another country, see how they're dealing with it, what their vault tech is like.
Well, Vault-Tec was actually only in the U.S., but maybe a version of theirs.
Exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
Something like that. Like if they don't continue with the story in season 1, but start season 2 with a story that interconnects with season 1 that's gonna be explained like a season 3 or some shit like that. That'd be a nice one to go to.
No, yeah. What about you, Ben? What do you want to see in season 2?
I just want to. What's the guy's name?
Cooper or Maximus?
Dude, it's because
Norm.
At the end.
Norm?
Yeah, I want to see Cooper. No, I want to see Cooper and Lucy's journey together, because he has not convinced her to, like she's already jaded just to the point where he is. So I want to see what they are going to do
Their
to
dynamic.
her dad. And they just tossed actually Maximus into the mix because he just found out it was her dad's fault.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Shady's hands.
The
So I want to see what happened with those, because I know that Maximus is probably want to go after her dad as well.
Kyle.
It's not just them two.
Yeah.
They've added people onto the other guy being a big ass target on his back now.
I'll be watching the rest of this the series while I'm playing BDO.
There you go. Well, yeah, if you've seen the franchise, it kind of is revealed that Asher Hank McClane is the actual villain of this story, because
Obviously.
he's one of the overseers in Vault 33 and 32 and 31, I guess. But it turns out that he was one of the head leads in Vault-Tec, and he basically oversaw a lot that was going on. Next to Cooper's wife, what's her name? Yeah, I forget her name. Oh, no. What is her name?
Not Janie. Is it Janie?
Is it Janie? It's not Chad. Oh, yeah, Janie Howard.
Yeah, Janie.
Yeah, by Tegan Meredith. And basically, at the end of the series, at the end of the season, you see Cooper asking like, "Where the hell's my wife?" And daughter actually, because so they're obviously both still alive. What about you, Lane? What's something you want to see in season 2?
Well, no, dang, I know you guys picked a lot of the good stuff.
You can build off of what we
No,
said.
no, I definitely want to see where Lucy and
Cooper.
Cooper go and how their relationship develops just as like partners, just kind of dealing with each other. 'Cause they don't like each other, but now they're kind of stuck with each other. I'm also a little curious to see what's going to go on with Maximus, and see where he goes. I want to know if Norm gets out of the vault or if he's just going to be frozen and then we're just not going to see him for a good chunk of season 2.
Oh, I hope not.
I hope that's not the case, but I mean, if he freezes himself, the only one that can unfreeze him is that
Robot.
The
Roomba
yeah,
brain.
Roomba robot.
the Roomba brain. The Roomba brain. I thought for sure they were gonna be when they were like doing that. I was like, oh, they're gonna be like the synthetic
Yeah,
people.
from the
That's
Institute.
what I
yeah.
thought. That's what I thought that they were gonna be.
We thought
Not
that
just like them frozen. When I was like, oh, that's a twist, I guess. But I
We thought that too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these are gonna be like synthetic people. They're not
Yeah.
gonna be real. Like that wasn't what it was.
And then the question would be like, who's real and who's not?
Yeah.
They're all sins.
They're all
The
sin.
twist was that they're all sins.
Isn't there a movie like that?
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but I know which one you're talking about. Now, Matt, this question pertains to Maximus. At the end of the season, he basically becomes not the head knight, but he is knighted after he's claimed to kill Moldaver, even though he didn't do it. Basically, he's going to get put into power. What do you think that's going to do to him, or where do you think he's going to go into season 2 from here?
Corruption.
I don't think it's gonna corrupt him, Omar. I think he's gonna take that power and use it to try and save Lucy. Because even after it's revealed that her dad was responsible for everything, the first thing he tried to do was protect her.
That's true, yeah.
Well, he did make a deal with Lucy when they first met.
Yeah.
Well, not when they first met, but when they met up with each other again. That he helps him out or whatever, and then he gives her like 4 or 5 nights.
And then they fall in love.
Yeah.
Typical.
Typical,
And watch her
yeah.
actually go with the ghoul.
Yeah. But
Now that's the romance that everybody wants.
so either that he's gonna ditch the Brotherhood of Steel and just go after her.
True.
But just speaking of Maximus in general, I am excited to see what happens with him next.
Yeah. I'm actually with you on that one because he basically got thrusted in a role that I don't think he wanted. And I don't think he knows he doesn't know what he's doing. So it'll be a good way to develop his character a little better. So I do look forward to see what they do with him in that. I know we said that his character was one-dimensional, a little naive, but like Matt said, he was conscripted at a young age, and that's the end result right there. So
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes from there. Any final thoughts on the show? Oh, you got something, Matt?
2 things. A, what's like a scene that you thought was incredibly hilarious? I'll go first.
Go for it.
You remember the scene when they're in that other vault with the one-eyed dude?
Yeah,
Who's the
41.
overseer?
41,
Yeah,
I think.
Vault 41.
Or 42.
One
I
of
think it's
those.
44.
44, you're right.
One of the 40s, okay?
It's pretty sure it's 44.
I love how they're about to let Lucy go, and she asks that they keep Maximus there because he likes it. And he goes and steals a fusion cord to power up his power armor. He comes in and he's like, "Let her go!" Starts trashing everybody. So they both get kicked out, and then she convinced him to leave the fusion core behind,
Yeah,
and
they
they're like,
toss it back
"Thank
in
you." That shit was fucking hilarious. Oh, and the other thing is, after you answered the first question, second question is, all right, and would you rather A, be a surface dweller, or B, a vault dweller? And these are the parameters. A, you already know what's up with the surface world. It's up to you of how you survive. but B, if you're a vault dweller, is um, you know something's amiss, but you don't have any concrete proof or evidence or anything like that, but you know something weird is up. So do you take control of knowing you can die at any second, or do you stay with the security and shelter of a vault, but you know something's kind of not right?
Okay.
Go.
Well, let's leave that one at the back end and then go over to the scenes that we thought were really funny. Jen, what you have one scene that you really liked in the first season?
In the first season?
Yeah.
Really funny scene?
It's just a scene you like.
When-
It doesn't have to be funny.
It
Just a
was-
scene you really like.
Okay. Okay, it was when, well, the funny scene that I did like was the one where Thaddeus gets shot through the neck. And he's like wondering why he's not dead. And then he's all like, oh, and then he figures out like that he's a ghoul.
Yeah, Maximus like, dude, I think you're
Yeah.
a ghoul.
Just like, okay, you know what? Here, you can have the head, and I can go on my way because
Yeah.
they don't like us.
Yeah, like how he immediately
Yeah.
ditched his
Yeah.
life, his entire
like, well, I'm
life
done.
after. It's like, well, I'm
Yeah.
I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, because he can't be in the Brotherhood anymore.
No, they'll kill him. Yeah, they'll
so,
kill him.
so he's like, you know what? I'll just help you out, and I'll just be on my way. I just want to survive.
That's so funny.
What about you, Omar? What's the scene you liked in the first season?
From what I know, or from what I remember, honestly, it was just when freaking the ghoul goes all ham in the freaking town and starts shooting
Oh,
up
yeah.
everybody, and you get a
Badass.
good look at his bullets on all
Yeah.
the blood spatter and all that.
Yeah.
Everybody's just blowing up.
Yeah, that scene was badass, especially the way they were doing the scenes. Even though they didn't use VATS, some of the scenes, the way it was working, if you played the game and you do a critical shot in the game, you do
It's
see
a
the
slow
bullet
mo-
run
yeah,
and
it's a
it
slow
does
motion.
explode.
Yeah.
And there's a perk in the game called Big Mess, where if you shoot somebody with a critical, they explode, and you saw that happen to a couple of characters.
Yep.
Lane, what about you? What's the scene you liked?
Oh man, there's a few.
If you want to name a couple, go ahead.
When Maximus first gets the suit,
He just starts having so much fun with
he
it.
just starts like frolicking around like he's in a field, just blows up a whole building. And then he encounters like those two dudes, and the guy he rescues the guy, and then the other guy's like, he was fucking my chickens.
And he realized he made a mistake.
He was like,
Oh, my bad.
oh, shucks. I think any scene with that snake oil dude was pretty hilarious.
He's actually the one that turned Thaddeus into a ghoul, by the way.
Yeah. And then I also really like the when the ghoul drops her off at that market to get her organs harvested, and then it's the robot. And it's the same voice actor.
I forget his name, but he's one of the characters in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He's so funny.
He
His
was a
voice is
friend
awesome.
of Cooper. When he,
Yeah, when they were alive, he was
Yeah.
Cooper's friend. But yeah, when that scene, and then
Matt Berry.
Yeah,
is
Matt
his
Berry.
character,
and then like how he's so like chipper, and then he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you've lost a finger. That won't do." And then he just sews her finger on just so he can harvest her organs. Like, what was the whole point of that? There was no point of the finger attaching. But I don't know. I love that. That whole scene was really funny too.
Going from there, I like the fact. Yeah, I like the fact that her first thought was like, "Oh, I thought this was gonna be a sex slave," and he's like, "My God, no, that's disgusting. I'm just going to harvest your organs."
That was pretty hilarious.
But yeah, it was definitely a funny part, and then the fact that he's actually the voice for the Mr. Handy characters in the game, and they got him to do that in the show. That's so awesome. I like that. Matt, you got something else?
Yeah, and also going off the one scene that Omar brought up, I love the part where Lucy shoots the ghoul with the tranquilizer dart.
Oh yeah,
And he's like,
that's a well in the deep ocean.
no, what he said, where he goes,
A drop, yeah.
he goes, that's a drop in a bucket filled with drugs. I just start
In
busting
an
up
ocean
laughing.
full of drugs.
There you go. That was funny. Yeah. One of my particular favorite scenes is when so they're crossing a bridge, Lucy and Maximus, and there's two I don't know what to call them. They're not raiders, but I guess you can call them survivors. And
they're like the cannibals, I think.
oh yeah, there were cannibals. You're
They're
right.
cannibal people.
You brought up the name, but I don't
can't
remember
remember
what.
what
I forgot to, but basically they're crossing the bridge, and Lucy's like, "Hey, so we're gonna go ahead and cross. Put your hands up, okay?" And then Maximus like, "Dude, don't like this is not gonna go well."
But that's what I mean by Maximus. He saw that shit coming.
Yeah, and then they're crossing, and they're obviously trying something, and then Maximus, immediately reacts, and he pulls out the gun and kills them both, and he gets winged. And he's like, whatever about it at first, and then he's like, oh shit, I think I'm losing a lot of blood, and then he falls over, and he realizes like, oh, I am hurt, because he's like, oh, this happens all the time. I'm used to it. It's like that one scene in not Terminator, in Predator. I ain't got time to bleed. Like you did bleed out pretty heavily right there. Anybody got any of the scenes? But you got any other scenes?
Not funny scene, but a scene I actually liked that was interesting is how they explain how that was it a giant salamander came to be.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
the
there was-
gulper.
if you noticed that there was
The
human
gulper.
fingers
Yeah,
in
I
his
saw
tongue.
that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That was the Vault 44's whole thing.
Yeah.
They were doing like
Experiments, yeah.
Hybrids
They were
with
using
animals.
women,
As-
like pregnancy into
Yeah.
like making like
the creatures, yeah.
creatures. And
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Is that I'm like, oh, so that's how their creatures are being.
Yeah, quick factoid. The gulper is a creature that was originally introduced in the Far Harbor DLC. I think he's also in New Vegas, right? He's one of the big salamanders you fight. It's black in the game, and it's just a giant ass salamander. In this one, it looked like an axolotl. I don't know if you know what those are. But this, like Jen said, the thing's mouth had fingers, and it was like
and that's what
pawing.
made me, and that's what I was
I
thinking.
was like, that's
where
not
are
from
they?
the game.
No. And
So
then
they,
I'm like,
they took creative liberties.
Exactly, but they
Yeah.
did a good job about
but,
it.
but it's a good
creepy.
thing on how they explain. Also, people that don't play the game or haven't played the game, it explains how the creatures were made, at least for the show. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because in the game, a lot of times it's just like, oh, radiation.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
it's
the whole. But they went like really creative on how
DNA
Yeah.
splicing,
Yeah.
Exactly,
mutations,
yeah.
and stuff like that. Force evolution.
Yeah, the FEV virus.
Because they did. That was one of the vaults.
Yeah, the
That
FEV
was
virus.
actually-
And
Yeah, one
and
of
they
the
made
vaults,
it
they
part
did
of
that.
yeah, which is pretty cool. Tied it in with the vault.
Matt's got something.
Now thinking of another scene, what has to do with the actor from what's that show, Omar? You like a lot, Person of Interest.
Michael Emerson.
Yeah,
is his
Michael
name.
Emerson.
I
I
he
like.
was not a person of interest.
No, he was.
He
He
was a
was.
person of interest.
Yes.
But the thing I really liked was, like, he tells Lucy to cut his head off because,
He had the isotope.
like, well, yeah, the isotope of cold fusion. But I like how he says this was the most humane thing that Voltec has ever made. It's quick, it's painless, and it tastes like bananas. Talking about the cyanide. Yeah, and I'm like, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, because they made a lot of things, and a lot of it's really fucked up. Believe it or not, cyanide was the nicest thing they made.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot about the company.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. Anybody got anything else?
I want to add to this part because what I mentioned in the very beginning of this is with Amazon Prime doing such a good job
Okay.
recreating this or creating this series. I want them next to adapt an Elder Scrolls series.
So you've told us, yeah.
Yes, because like Fallout is one end of the spectrum when it comes to post-apocalyptic disasters and
Yeah.
whatnot. What if Elder Scrolls was like maybe a rebirth of the series
Exactly.
after Fallout or something or other? Make some way to connect it.
Tie them together?
Yeah,
That's actually not far fetched. And if you played the games, a lot of people have find little tidbits that
like,
make them theorize like, oh, maybe they're connected.
like Easter eggs or something because it is made by the same company.
Yeah, Bethesda.
So why not just freaking do Elder Scrolls? And they have the technology.
They do.
I like to keep my dragons and nuclear fallout separated, okay?
You do know that dragons do breathe nuclear breath.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
Or at least nuclear power, intense heat.
They are not Godzilla, okay? There's a difference between Godzilla and dragons.
Okay.
Godzilla can fly.
Anybody got... That's true. That's true. That is canon. Anybody got anything else? Nothing? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and just wrap it up. Again, the show is...
The second question.
Oh, right. Okay, so going back to Matt's question about living in the wasteland or the vault, who wants to answer it?
I like my hygiene, so I'll probably go with the vault.
Uh-huh.
But survivability is key. So I could
Yeah.
Well, I mean, granted, Lucy was in the vault and she survived pretty well. She learned everything that she needed to know.
Well, I think she was. Well, I guess you can argue she was in a control vault. There were a couple of them that they just left them alone. Like it was just people surviving.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Lane? Would you be Wasteland or the vaults?
Dang, that's a tough one.
It is because
That's
it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, you're
either
fucked.
way, it's probably a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. You're screwed either way.
But, like,
Screw you, Matt.
I
welcome.
would probably try and take my chance and
Chaos incarnate.
granted, if it was all of us in a group together, I think we'd survive
In the vault, yeah.
No. We'd survive
in the wasteland.
in the vault.
No, either way.
We'd survive in the
No,
vault, guys.
we would survive either way.
Yeah.
Vault or Wasteland. What? So, Lane, go ahead. Here's your thought.
Yeah, dang.
Sophie's choice.
I guess on the surface, just because of how terrible the vaults are,
Right.
and that you would most likely get stuck in one with really shitty circumstances.
That's true.
So I mean, yeah, either way, I mean, if you're on the surface, at least
There's some chance of survival.
maybe,
True.
yeah.
You
That's true.
the survival.
Or you just become one of those people that raid a vault.
True.
Then you just take over a vault, and then you have yourself a fucking vault. So
There you go. What about you, babe?
I'd take my chances in the wasteland.
Nice.
Tire armor.
I would. No, I would. Like, you know, you have to survive in your environment, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's a vault or the wasteland. I think you can survive in either. You just do what Norm does.
True.
Do what
Ask
everything
questions.
like.
Ask questions. Yeah.
And that's me.
just pretend to be a cowboy.
Yeah. You just pretend you're aloof and
Yeah.
nobody will.
Yeah. I'd have to go with the Wasteland as well, because in the vault you're limited to what's in there, and since it's sealed, you can't really do much about it unless you go full ham and just take out everybody and figure something out, or you hack all the terminals and find a way out. But in the Wasteland, I mean, even just playing the games, you can get pretty badass if you play the right way or just do things the right way. And survival is more dependent on your grit in the Wasteland, whereas survival is depending on which vault you got stuck in.
Yeah.
And what about you, you scumbag?
I would take the Wasteland just because it comes.
guess we're all living in the Wasteland.
Yeah, I guess we're wastelanders.
Yeah.
And the whole reason being is because
Oh, except for you. You said the vault.
No,
There's-
I only said the vault because of hygiene.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I take the wasteland.
but it comes down to with you are free to do what you want in the Wasteland. There's like no rules to really abide by because in the
It's
vault,
the Wild West.
yeah. So you're gonna have to make the tough choice, and if you can make those tough choices for your survival, you'll be fine. But also, it's about making the proper connections, just like in the games. Like the right people you're connected to, the better survivability.
Yeah.
So if you can be smart and do those two things, I think you have a better chance of surviving in the Wasteland versus in the vault, because like Ed said, it is a roll of the dice. You can be stuck in a vault where you have limited resources for like 6 months to a year. And it could be overcrowded, which it was an actual experiment of one of the vaults.
Yeah.
So I rather take my chances upstairs.
Yeah. There was one vault, and this is a pretty heinous one because sometimes I feel like that happens here. They were submitting sound waves to make the persons go insane,
And it was musicians.
and they eventually kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. What?
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else? Any final thoughts?
I think it's a good series, and they have a lot to work with, so I'm excited to see where it goes. I definitely want to see more vaults. I think some super mutants cameos would be cool too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know they have a lot to work with, and the first season was really enjoyable.
Yeah,
so.
it was. Yeah.
My final thought is for season 2, I better see a fucking Deathclaw.
Oh, we are.
I was
Oh, we
waiting for
totally
one
are.
the whole entire time of season 1,
You see a skull.
and
Yeah.
it didn't deliver. I was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were all sad about that one.
they're like, we'll give him a gulper. I think the gulper was a better choice because it was way more creepy.
It was creepy. Yeah,
It
I
was
still
really
have
creepy.
nightmares about it.
Yeah, so I feel like we'll get the death claw. for
Omar,
sure.
any final thoughts?
No, I just want to see like more of the like hodgepodge technology that
Yeah.
you would get in the games.
Right? Like, no nonsense, like the big ass Pip Boys.
Or not just that, but like the freaking Fat Man launcher that you would get in the
Yeah,
games.
the mini nuke launcher.
Yeah. Stuff like that, like a little bit more Easter eggs from the
True.
games.
Yeah. What about you, babe? Any thoughts? Any final thoughts?
I just want to see what's gonna happen to corporate.
Okay.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think we all want to see.
Because
But
in one of the walls that where everybody killed themselves, they said "fuck management." So I want
Yeah.
to see what.
will corporate finally get what they deserve? Find
Yeah.
out next season in Fallout. But yeah, there you have it, folks. Definitely check out the show for yourself. It's on Amazon Prime Video. 8 episodes, like 45 minutes each. So 2 to 8 binge tops if you like don't go to the bathroom or wear a diaper. But yeah, definitely check it out. Again, thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We really look forward to season 2. Remember, hit that like button and subscribe if you're watching on my YouTube channel. Matt pointed out that on Spotify, give us a rating. Let us know what you think. There is a poll. Give us 5 stars, please. And there's a poll to tell us what you think about the episode. Follow us so we know that we can bring you more episodes every day. And as always, thanks for listening, everybody. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Sweet dreams.